When's the wedding? I asked. My mother paused on the other end of the phone. We got married yesterday, she said. Just for special people. I stood there in my kitchen, the phone pressed to my ear. Surprised? What? You heard me, Cecily. It was a small ceremony. Only the people who matter. She hung up. I stared at my phone for a long time. My little sister had gotten married. Yesterday. And nobody told me. I opened Instagram. There it was. Posted 3 hours ago. Emma in a white dress. My parents on either side. My brother Daniel in a tux. Aunts. Uncles. Cousins I hadn't seen in years. Everyone smiling. The caption said, "Best day ever surrounded by love." 63 people in the comments. Congratulations. Beautiful. So happy for you. I wasn't in a single photo. Sighs. I sat down slowly. My name is Cecily Brennan. I'm 32. I'm a software engineer in Seattle. I left home 10 years ago, and I never looked back. But this was different. They didn't forget to invite me. They chose not to. Just for special people, my mother said. I closed Instagram. I poured a glass of water. I went to bed. I didn't cry. I didn't call back. But something inside me changed that night. 1 week later, my phone rang at 7 in the morning. My mother's voice was sharp. "Did you send the money?" That's when I knew something was very wrong. "What money?" I asked. "For the wedding bills, Cecily. Don't play stupid." I sat up in bed. "Mom, I wasn't even invited to the wedding." "That's irrelevant," she snapped. "The venue is demanding payment. The caterer too. We need $40,000 by Friday, or they're threatening legal action." I almost laughed. Why would I pay for a wedding I wasn't invited to? Because you're family. Because Emma is your sister. Because we raised you. "You didn't raise me to be a bank," I said. She was quiet for a moment. "We know you have money, Cecily. You work in tech. You live alone. No husband. No kids. What else are you spending it on?" There it was. The real reason. "I'm not sending anything," I said. "You're being selfish." I hung up, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. $40,000 in overdue bills. For a wedding that happened a week ago. That didn't make sense. Wedding venues require deposits. Caterers want payment up front. You can't just throw a 60-person wedding and walk away without paying, unless they never planned to pay in the first place. I opened my laptop. I searched for my sister's wedding venue, Grand Oak Estate. I found their invoice policies online. Full payment required 2 weeks before the event. So they'd already paid, or they were supposed to. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Daniel, my brother. "Just send the money, Seki. Don't make this harder than it needs to be." "Did you pay for anything?" I asked. He hesitated. "That's different. I'm getting married next year. I need to save." I hung up on him too. Something was very wrong here. I couldn't let it go. That night, I did something I hadn't done in years. I called my Aunt Linda, my mother's sister, the only family member who ever treated me like a person. "Cecily," she said warmly, "I was wondering when you call. You were at the wedding?" "I was. I'm sorry, honey. I didn't know you weren't invited until I got there." "Did it seem normal to you?" I asked. She was quiet for a moment. "Define normal." "The venue, the food, the flowers. Did it all seem expensive?" "Very," she said. "Your parents kept talking about how much everything cost. The imported roses, the designer cake, the live band. Your mother told everyone it was a $100,000 wedding." My stomach dropped. 100,000. That's what she said. She made sure everyone knew. I thanked her and hung up. $100,000 wedding, but they only had 40,000 in overdue bills. Where did the other 60,000 go? I started digging. I found Emma's wedding registry online. Expensive items, most of them marked as purchased. I checked her Instagram again. New posts from the honeymoon, Maldives, 5-star resort, private villa. That wasn't cheap. Then I found my mother's Facebook, a post from 2 months ago. "Finally! Got the kitchen remodel we've been dreaming of. Marble countertops and custom cabinets. Dreams do come true." I sat back. They'd been spending money. A lot of money. My phone rang. My father this time. "Cecily, your mother's very upset." "Good. We need that money. This is family. Then why wasn't I invited? He sighed like I was being difficult. You know why. Actually, I don't. Because you left, he said quietly. You chose your career over us. You made it clear where your priorities are. I felt something cold settle in my chest. So this is punishment? He didn't answer. That's when I decided to find out what they were really hiding. I hired a private investigator. It sounds dramatic, but I needed answers, and I knew my family would never tell me the truth. His name was Rick. Former cop. He came recommended by a colleague at work. What exactly are you looking for? He asked. Financial records, bank statements, anything that shows where their money is going. It took him 3 days. When he called me back, his voice was different. You're going to want to sit down for this. He sent me a file. I opened it. My parents were broke, completely broke. Their house had a second mortgage, maxed out credit cards, personal loans from 3 different banks. They owed over $200,000. How? I whispered. Keep reading, Rick said. I scrolled down. For the past 5 years, my parents had been living beyond their means. Luxury cars, designer clothes, expensive vacations, all of it on credit. And they'd been telling everyone I was paying for it. There were Facebook messages, emails to relatives, my mother bragging about how Cecily is so successful, she takes care of everything for us. My Aunt Carol replied to one, "You're so lucky to have a daughter like that." My mother's response, "We raised her right." I felt sick. They'd been using my name, my reputation, making people think I was funding their lifestyle. But I hadn't sent them a single dollar in 10 years. Then I found the worst part. Emma's wedding wasn't just expensive, it was a scam. They told vendors I would pay the final bills. They gave them my name, my phone number, my email address that they'd somehow gotten access to. They'd forged contracts with my signature. Every vendor thought I was the guarantor. The 40,000 in overdue bills, all in my name. If those bills didn't get paid, I'd be sued. Not them. Me. I didn't panic. That's what they expected. They wanted me to scramble, to pay the bills out of fear, to protect my credit and my reputation. But I'd learned something over the years. You don't react. You plan. I called Rick back. I need more, I said. I need every vendor contract, every invoice, every email where they used my name. You're going to fight this? I'm going to end this. He got me everything within 2 days, forged signatures on 4 vendor contracts, email chains where my mother pretended to be me, text messages to the wedding planner using a fake number they'd registered in my name. It was identity theft, fraud, forgery, all criminal charges, but I didn't go to the police yet. I had a better idea. I contacted every single vendor. I explained the situation calmly. I sent them the evidence that the signatures weren't mine. I offered to cooperate with any legal action they wanted to take. Against my parents, not me. Most of them were sympathetic. A few were angry they'd been scammed, but they all agreed to redirect their claims. Then I did something else. I called Emma. She answered on the 3rd ring. "What do you want, Cecily? I want to know if you knew." "Knew what?" "That Mom and Dad were putting the wedding bills in my name." Silence. "Emma? They said you offered," she said quietly. "They said you wanted to do it as a gift. And you believed them? After not inviting me?" I don't know. I didn't ask questions." "You never do," I said. I hung up. The next call was to Daniel. "Did you know they forged my signature?" I asked. "Cecily, just pay the money. Don't make this a big thing." "Answer the question." He sighed. "Mom said you'd agreed to help. I figured it was between you two." "You figured wrong." I hung up on him too. One more call to make. I dialed my parents' number. My father answered. "We need to talk," I said. "In person. Tomorrow." They agreed to meet at a coffee shop. Neutral ground. I got there early. I sat in the back corner. I had a folder with me. Everything organized. Everything documented. My parents walked in 10 minutes late. My mother looked annoyed. My father looked tired. "This better be quick," my mother said, sitting down. "We have plans." I slid the folder across the table. "Open it." My father opened it slowly. His face changed as he read. Where did you get this? Doesn't matter. What matters is what you did. My mother grabbed the papers. Her eyes scanned the pages. This is private information. You had no right. You forged my signature, I said calmly. You committed identity theft. You put $40,000 of debt in my name without my permission. We're family, my father said. We needed help. You didn't ask for help. You stole my identity. My mother's face hardened. You owe us, Cecily. We raised you. We paid for your education. You paid for 2 years of community college before I got scholarships, I said. I've been financially independent since I was 20. That's not the point. The point is this, I interrupted. Every vendor has been notified. They know the signatures are forged. They're redirecting all legal claims to you. My father's face went pale. You wouldn't. I already did. My mother stood up. You ungrateful little... Sit down, Mom. Something in my voice made her stop. You have 2 choices, I said. Option 1, you figure out how to pay those bills yourself. You sell the cars, you downsize the house, you fix your own mess. And option 2, my father asked quietly, I press charges, identity theft, fraud, forgery. You'll both have criminal records. My mother's hands were shaking. You'd do that to your own parents? I looked at her. You did it to me first. I stood up. You have until Friday to decide. After that, I'm filing a police report. I walked out. Friday came. I didn't hear from them all week. No calls, no texts, nothing. I went to the police station at 9 in the morning. I brought all my documentation, the forged contracts, the emails, the evidence Rick had gathered. The officer listened carefully. This is clear-cut identity theft, he said. We can move forward with charges if you want. I was about to say yes when my phone buzzed. A text from my Aunt Linda. Your parents just put the house up for sale. Emergency listing. Thought you should know. I stared at the message. They'd chosen option 1. Give me 1 moment, I told the officer. I stepped outside. I called Linda. When did this happen? This morning. Your mother called me crying, said they had no choice, that you were forcing them to lose everything. Did she say why? Linda was quiet for a moment. She said you refused to help with Emma's wedding, that you were punishing them for not inviting you. Of course, they were spinning it, making me the villain. That's not what happened, I said. I know, honey. I've known your mother for 50 years. I know how she works. I went back inside. I want to file the report, I told the officer, but I don't want to press charges yet. I want it on record. He nodded. We can do that. The report was filed by noon. That afternoon, my phone exploded. Texts from relatives, calls from family friends. Everyone had heard some version of the story. Most blamed me, called me heartless, said family forgives. But a few people reached out differently. My cousin Sarah, I believe you. My parents lent yours money 3 years ago. Never got it back. My uncle Tom, your dad borrowed 10 grand from me for medical bills. Saw him buy a boat 2 weeks later. Aunt Linda, your mother has done this before. To me. Years ago. I never told anyone. I wasn't the first person they'd scammed. I was just the first one who fought back. 2 weeks later, the house sold. They moved into a small rental across town. The wedding bills got paid, and I never heard from them again. 6 months passed. I changed my phone number. I locked down my credit. I put alerts on everything with my name attached to it. I went to therapy, talked through what happened, learned that walking away from toxic people isn't cruel. It's survival. My life got quieter, better. I got promoted at work, senior engineer, better pay, more responsibility. I started dating someone I met at a coffee shop. Someone kind. Someone who didn't understand how a family could do that to their own daughter. I didn't try to explain it anymore. Then one day, Emma called from a number I didn't recognize. Cecily? I almost hung up. What do you want? I'm getting divorced, she said. Her voice was shaking. Mom and Dad won't help me. They said they can't afford a lawyer. I don't know what to do. I waited. I was wrong, she continued. About everything. The wedding. Not inviting you. Believing them when they said you didn't care about us. Didn't I tell you? I said quietly. Tell me what? That actions have consequences, that you can't treat people like they're disposable and expect them to save you later. She started crying. I'm sorry, Cecily, I really am. I believe you, I said, but sorry doesn't fix this. So you won't help me? I thought about it. Really thought about it. No, I said. I won't. Figure it out the same way I did. Alone. I hung up. Some people think that makes me cold, unforgiving, but I learned something important. You can't set yourself on fire to keep people warm, especially people who handed you the match. I'm not their safety net. I'm not their backup plan. I'm just Cecily, living my life, finally free, and that's enough.